Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Nerd Up. This week I got Asa Gray.
Yes.
And then me.
End of list.
It's a morning show this morning. Dalton wanted to watch his New Japan Wrestling at 2 a.m., so he couldn't be bothered to join us this morning. Mandy and Lindsay, both morning shows. It's hard to get them anyway. So, just me and Asa this morning. Be a fun time. And we'll try to keep it a little higher energy than it is at this point in time. All right, so the first bit of news we got, if this would go over, Uncharted movie. We got a release date for it, December 18th, 2020. Looks like Tom Holland is confirmed to be playing a young Nathan Drake, which likely means we'll see him in like either the beginning of the movie or a flashback or something like that. I do not think that he's going to be playing Nathan Drake through the whole film.
No, I think it's going to be just like, this is following a young Nathan Drake.
But Tom Holland looks too young.
But in reality, he's like
23 or something like that. Which, I get it, I guess. But he is very successfully playing like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, but they can do things to age him up a little bit. Like, I don't know if he can grow facial hair, but like even that would work
facial
amazingly.
hair, like some stubble would help. If they could, use some clever camera angles to make him look a little taller. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they were using clever camera angles to make him look shorter in Spider-Man.
Right, yeah. I
guess that's a possibility. I need to look up Tom Holland's height because I'm curious. Because dude does not look tall.
Because I very much don't think that, like, the way that all of the news outlets are reporting this of Tom Holland to star in Uncharted movie, like, I don't see that would be the leading foot if he was just doing, like, a cameo thing. I feel like they would have announced who's playing actual Nathan Drake.
I didn't see any Tom Holland starring as.
Really?
I just heard Tom Holland as young Nathan Drake is what I kept reading.
Which, like, that's a weird one to be the only casting announcement.
I know, I agree. And also Tom Holland is 5'8". So, I mean, he's not like...
He's a slight fellow. Which, I mean, Nathan Drake's not a big guy.
No, he's not. But, like, I don't know. I guess when I think of Nathan Drake, I think Nathan Fillion. And because, like, they look extremely similar.
I don't remember who did it, but someone said that it would be funny if this is like a young Nathan Drake story. Get Nathan Fillion to play old Nathan Drake telling the story.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
To, like, bookend the movie.
I'd be completely fine with that. Though I don't ever see Tom Holland growing up in a Nathan Fillion. Unless they give us
movies, man. Like, you're getting real hung up on some stuff that I just don't get.
I get hung up on weird stuff sometimes.
That's coming from me.
We get hung up on different stuff, all right? You recognize your hang-ups are weird, so do I. Like, I always got hung up on Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Oh, that was a thing on Reddit, was this is Magneto in 1992. This is Magneto in 2000. What the hell happened in the late 90s?
The late 90s were not kind to Magneto. That was bad. But anyway, we got the Uncharted movie news. The Russo brothers, the guys behind the last two Avengers movies, like the Captain America movies, like
several episodes of Community.
Just
as notable.
Sure, buddy. Sure, just as notable. As long as they were in the first 3 seasons.
They were.
Okay, good. Anyway, they're working on a Magic the Gathering series for Netflix.
Animated,
yeah. It'll be an animated Magic the Gathering series, which is one of those things, like, you may not like Magic as a game or anything. Mm-hmm. The lore has always been cool.
Yeah, no, that's my thing, is, like, I would want to play the game strictly because of the lore. Like, that new, it's not new anymore, but the trailer for the new expansion that came out a couple months ago, the one that had, like, this weird remix of In the End.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, watching that's just like, oh man, if we're getting a Magic the Gathering, like, video game, that'd be awesome. That's just for the new expansion. It's like, okay, whatever. But then, like, going on the subreddit to try to figure out, like, exactly what that was, them breaking, like, there was a lot of people like, hey, I saw this trailer. I've been out of Magic for, like, 20 years. What's going on? And someone, like, breaking down the lore, and because apparently, like, even the card expansions, like, if you read all the flavor text and stuff, like, it's been telling a story, for years now. And reading that story, it's just like, oh, this is all kind of sick. Like, I would love to consume this sort of tale in any form other than a card game. So I'm like, you have to. I don't know if they're gonna actually tell the same story or if it's gonna. We don't have any details
Yeah, I
on what
mean,
it's gonna be.
there's also like a just a ridiculous amount of lore, ridiculous amount of story to tell
Hmm.
inside like the Magic the Gathering area. Because I mean, you have all the different planes, like you
Hmm.
planeswalkers. That's the big thing. There's a ton of lore and a ton of different stories to tell. So I'm really excited about this because I'm sure it's gonna follow like some like one of the big plot lines from
One of the main
the.
planeswalkers, like Ilyana or whatever the big dragon dude is, who's the big bad.
Bet you anything it'll be about Jace or Gideon. I don't like either of those guys.
Maybe
It's
you
the
will. Maybe. Do you just not like the characters, or do you not like having to play against them?
well, no, it's I just don't like the characters. They're
Okay.
they're boring in my opinion, but
Hmm.
they're the big like
White.
Jace is the blue planeswalker, Gideon's the white planeswalker.
So like they're
Um,
kind of more the standard like white knight hero.
Jace not so much, Gideon absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's every bit of Gideon.
Hmm.
Like he is just that traditional like I am hero. Bow before me in all my might and all that other stuff. Like, yeah, I like using Gideon in the game, and like, there's some Jaces that I like using too, but I just don't like them as planeswalkers. They're more interesting planeswalkers, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. They're much more interesting planeswalkers.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, we'll see. We don't have any other information than that. We don't even have like a release time frame. It's just something they're going to be working on, and something that I am going to watch when it happens. Because yeah, that'll be
Oh
cool.
yeah, no, like I'll watch like because I mean Russo brothers and like I said, Magic. I've always been cool. Like the reason I got into Magic was because of the art on the cards.
Fair.
Like every time, both times I've gotten into Magic was because like yeah, I remember the art being super cool and like the creatures being super cool. Didn't really even realize there was a whole lore to everything other than just like oh these are people and planeswalkers are a thing. Like cool, whatever. I don't care. Like
They look neat. Let's play.
let's see the pictures.
Yeah, because
It's how expensive. You, I'm too stupid for this. Okay, never mind.
Aw. Yeah, no, Magic is a lot of fun. Like I've sank a lot of time and money into that game, but it's been a while since I've like actually played. Like other than at our apartment here and there,
Mhm.
or I've gone to a couple of the release events.
I still think it would be a fun idea if we could get like if we had like if something happened and our Patreon like took off, we would absolutely do it. But like to do like where you and Ben have to coach me from like okay, I don't know anything about anything to like having me compete in an actual like tournament of some
Mm.
kind. I think that could be fun.
I mean
But I
like
don't want to spend the money or time or effort as like a video series. I don't want to do any of that just as we are now.
I got you. Yeah, because that's very much something that like Ben and I have done already, just not on a
Hmm.
camera.
Right. And you haven't done
Uh,
it to me.
exactly.
I'm the only
we,
one that
we
matters.
have not done it to you. We did that to Krista. Yeah, Krista. Like, so we had sorry guys, a brief tangent here. We had like a draft league that we just did with all of our friends because we didn't. A lot of us, like including myself and Ben, hadn't really gotten into Magic yet, but wanted to. But we didn't really want to jump in with all of the MTG crowd because like it's a fair argument could be made that Magic players are the worst part about Magic. That would be a pretty easy and fair argument to make.
Hmm.
So yeah, we wanted to play with just our friends. So we made a 12-person draft league, and yeah, we just played that way, and it was a whole lot of fun. Krista was involved in that, and she had a lot of fun with it. So she got like the basics of the game there, and then Krista wanted to play with me in like tournaments and stuff. So we got her like just one of the basic like red black pre-constructed decks, and then Ben and I hooked her up with a whole bunch of cards to make it just really gross. Like it was just a hardcore aggro deck. Like she could pretty consistently finish the game by round 4 if she got like a good card, a decent card pull. She once beat me in round 3. And then we went to a standard tournament. And it was actually a game day event, which is one of the like the big Magic events around. There's always like some really nice play mats and prize pools. And she ended up getting, this was her first ever actual event that she showed up to, and she ended up getting second place at a game day event with this ridiculous red black aggro deck.
Hmm.
And from then on, Krista was hooked. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that would be really really fun to do. All right, moving on though. Jurassic World animated series is coming to Netflix in 2020. A lot of stuff coming to Netflix, which is good because they're about to lose rights to basically everything that's not theirs. In the next few years, I could see that happening anyway.
Yeah, because everybody's want to start their own thing.
Yup. Everybody wants their own streaming service, which, boo. Anyway, so yeah, we don't know any other information than that. Just, yeah, it'll be a Jurassic World animated series, which, cool. I like Jurassic World. Then Jurassic World 3, which I thought they've done 3 movies.
They've done Fallen Kingdom or whatever.
And Lost World, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason I thought there was a third one that I hadn't seen yet. But anyway, I just had that thought while I was reading this. Jurassic World 3, though, is going to bring back some old cast members. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern from the original Jurassic Park movies are all coming back, which I don't know what they're going to do, but cool. That'll be neat. Then the last thing here I want to talk about, I saw Dark Phoenix yesterday, the new X-Men film.
Did you want to throw in the Venom stuff?
Oh, right. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that first. Yeah, apparently Sony is. I don't know why I forgot. I just forgot to type that in. Sony is wanting to include Venom in the next Spider-Man movie, or in a Spider-Man movie, probably the next one.
There are because the source on because this is all a rumor,
Yep.
but the source on this comes from someone on Twitter who claims to be an insider in Marvel who tweeted out like not necessarily spoilers, but like. Well, yeah, no, like they're spoilers. He tweeted out Endgame spoilers like months before the movie came out, and they turned out to be true. Like everything he put out there like came to be, so people are giving him some credibility. But the tweet he posted was there are no plans to add Deadpool in an MCU Spider-Man 3, but Sony desperately wants Tom Hardy's Venom in this movie. Deadpool had his own movies but never showed up in the main X-Men films. It'll be the same for the MCU. So, my favorite take on this was someone on Twitter, I think, that said, well, we know how great it can be when Sony shoehorns Venom into the third Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Honestly, hard no.
Oh, absolutely not.
Hard no.
Absolutely not.
Because like
You've made your terrible bed, now you stay in your terrible bed. Like
Yeah.
you that's your playground. Go nuts with whatever garbage you want to pump out. This is pristine and immaculate, and it will not be touched by your dirty, dirty hands.
because this
Build the wall.
Venom was perfectly enjoyable. Like I had fun watching that movie. It was not a good movie. It was, as far as comic book movies go, like it ranks down in the DC films for me. Like it does not rank inside the MCU. Yes, folks, that means that I liked Incredible Hulk more than Venom. And that is saying something because I love Venom.
Right.
Like, not the movie.
That's your guy.
The character.
Yeah.
I love that character. The black suit Spider-Man is one of my favorite, like, the symbiote Spider-Man is one of my favorite Spider-Man outfits. Like, that was a really cool era in Spider-Man, and it's always really neat when they meet up. I would like for the third Spider-Man movie to include the symbiote. I think that would be really cool. Mostly because I just want that. It would just.
But you also want you want Kevin Feige
Yeah.
to be in charge of the symbiote, not this.
Whatever this abomination was that came out of Sony's Marvelverse. No, thank you.
No.
Just stay over there with all of your Spider-Man villains that you're bogarting and leave Marvel to Marvel. And I'm sure Kevin Feige would just laugh. Like, yeah, we want Tom Hardy in this movie. No.
Unless Sony does a thing like, well, I mean, you can put Tom Hardy in this movie, or you just won't have a Spider-Man 3 because they still own those rights. I don't know if they like.
I'm sure they have a contract.
See, and that's
where
the
they
thing.
can't
We
do
don't know
that.
what the contract is. Like we don't know what the contract says. If if the rumor for 3 movies is accurate or
Yeah, and also I would bet you anything that Disney would call that bluff. Just because Sony made way more money on all of the movies that Tom Holland has been in as Spider-Man. Sony made way more money on those than like Venom will ever come close to touching.
yeah, we don't know but Venom made a bunch of money.
Venom did make a bunch of money.
It's very upsetting to me.
It did not make near as much money as Homecoming.
Well, yeah, but it's not like they got all of the money from Homecoming.
They didn't.
We don't know what that
And-
share is.
Well, no, yeah, because they got a significant share for it. They got to put their name all over it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I still bet that they made more money with Homecoming than they did with Venom.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, no. Venom made an upsetting amount of money, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Keep Tom Hardy out of the MCU. I don't need it. I don't want it. Keep it out.
At least as Venom. Like, I would love to see Tom Hardy in another role in the MCU.
Oh, yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Or even just, like, he can play Venom, just...
We're ignoring that movie.
It's just a separate Venom with a new costume and a new look, new backstory, new everything.
Yeah, basically, Tom Hardy can come in, and he can be Eddie Brock, and that's fine.
Isn't Eddie Brock the... haven't we seen him? Or have they not used that name?
They haven't used that name
yet.
They used Flash.
Okay, I'm thinking of Flash.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Flash.
But we don't have Eddie Brock yet. Anyway, and now Dark Phoenix. I saw Dark Phoenix yesterday, and I wish I had better news, folks. This is not a great outro. This is easily the worst of the new wave of X-Men movies, like since First Class. It's worth seeing in theaters for the last like half hour of the movie, because it's a 2-hour film. The last half hour of the movie is just about all fight scene, which
cool.
is fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit, but there's just everything leading up to it was really meh. Sophie Turner did a solid job. Like I really enjoyed Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. And I mean, like, really the acting wasn't bad. There was just a lot of little things that irked me. And I do wish Dalton was here so I could talk to him about like what I'm about to talk about next, because this isn't spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing not or spoiler free and everything. This is just something that happens in the movie that irks me. So at the very beginning of the movie, they're flying in the X-Jet. Raven is giving commands to like the X crew for the mission they're about to do, and so she's going through. She's saying like, "All right, Peter, I need you to do this. Kurt, I need you to do this. Scott, I need you to do this. Hank, you go ahead and keep doing this. And Storm, I need you to do this." So you may have heard one of these things is not like the other. Storm was the only one that got a code name in that list of names. For whatever reason, yeah, that was just, she was Storm. She wasn't Aurora. She was Storm. And I was like, well, that was kind of weird. Then later on, Xavier, in a completely different situation. Xavier is giving a list of commands. All right, Kurt, I need you to do this. Hank, I need you to do this. Scott, I need you to do this. Storm, you need to stay here. So I was like, what? Again? Then later, Eric, and I'm using their first names on purpose. Nobody got a code name except for Storm. Not a single person.
Maybe she's the only one that wanted one.
Oh my god. Later, Eric, in another scene, said, "Hank, go help Storm." I don't understand why nobody would say Aurora, or why no one else got a code name. But I was really annoyed. They sort of like hinted at the closest anybody else came to getting a code name. Somebody was like, Scott said, "Gene, do you know what they're calling you?" "Phoenix, isn't that cool?" And that was it. That was the closest anybody else got to a code name.
Huh.
So it was just a weird thing that irked me. And then for whatever reason, they didn't want to include Bobby Drake in it at all. So no Iceman. There's no Iceman in this film, even a minute. However, Storm just has Iceman's powers. Out in space, she froze a spaceship. Because
her powers wouldn't really work in space.
They would not, because there's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
So she froze the spaceship. Later, they're all having a party, and Scott's got a couple of glasses, and he's wanting some ice. So like, "Storm, could you help me up with some ice cubes?" Storm puts her hand over the cup and generates ice cubes in the cup. And they're sitting here watching this like, are you kidding me? What is happening right now? Storm also, whenever she fights in the movie, it's not until the very end that she actually starts using her lightning powers and some of the other neat powers that she has. At one point in the film, she is actually hand-to-hand fighting with an X-Man that I don't recognize, Well, with a mutant, rather, not an X-Man. She's just hand-to-hand fighting with this guy and not doing well. I don't understand. It was not great. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm seeing like it's the worst reviewed one on Rotten Tomatoes. So under Last Stand.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
But hey, in like 7 years, we'll get a great X-Men movie.
And in fairness, I don't think it was worse than Last Stand. It was definitely better than that. If for no other reason than the visuals were really cool, the acting wasn't as bad. Like I wasn't super upset with the story they told. It was different, but also, so in Age of Apocalypse
At the end.
at the end when they kind of hinted at her having the Phoenix Force already.
Yeah.
So apparently we're ignoring that entirely.
I was wondering because like one of the trailers like shows them in space.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if that's where it happens, what was the...
They're just pretending that didn't happen at all. Because I was sitting there watching that because I remembered that from Age of Apocalypse. And then so it happens. It's not a huge spoiler. At the very beginning of the movie, that's when Jean Grey gets the Phoenix Force. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, they never called it the Phoenix Force. I was fine with that. But anyway, so they get the Phoenix Force. And I'm sitting here watching, okay, so does the first part of this movie take... Because they've already done one flashback. Like, it opens up as Jean as a little girl. It goes through her backstory. Then it goes to them going on this space mission. So I'm like, okay, so does the first part of this movie take place before Age of Apocalypse? No, it does not. It's very much just that little bit of Phoenix stuff that happened at the end of the Age of Apocalypse. We're like, yeah, no, that did not happen at all. Don't worry about it. Just pretend it didn't happen. Please.
It's fine. Or when she was flexing on Magneto of like, hey, you know that thing you can do with metal? I can do with literally everything.
She does get to do that. Like, that actually also annoyed me a little bit. Only in that, in Age of Apocalypse, she competed with Magneto with no problem. Mm-hmm. Well, I say no problem. Like, she competed with Magneto. When she had the Phoenix Force, and she had to compete with Magneto, she beat him exactly as handily.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's not even, I don't even think that's a problem with this movie as much as just like any superhero medium in general. Every character tends to be as powerful as they need to be.
As powerful as the plot needs them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's the power of plot. Like, it's a straight up trope. Mm-hmm. Superman suffers easily the worst.
Right.
Just because of the kind of character Superman is.
At least Hulk, there's an explanation to it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, okay, well, he's just not that angry yet.
Right. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. Mm-hmm. Superman is always just like, he has massive power fluctuations. And it's very much like he's only ever as strong as the plot requires him to be. Never stronger. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, it's whatever. So, yeah, Dark Phoenix was not great. That was not a great exit to those movies because this is the last one that Fox gets to do. As far as I know, like...
Well, I mean, we're still doing New Mutants, but that's kind of like an outside thing that doesn't...
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the First Class series. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, that's a little bit of a bummer outro because I absolutely loved First Class, mm-hmm. And Days of Future Past was really, really good too.
I've loved all three of them. Like even apparently a lot of people did not like Apocalypse. I enjoyed it. Like I thought it was good.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I thought it was probably better than like maybe not X2, but like I would have put it above like that first trilogy of movies like that. I mean 3 for sure, but.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. The First Class trilogy was far above and beyond the first X-Men trilogy. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, the Age of Apocalypse, I enjoyed watching it. Like, I didn't have any particular complaints. It was a good movie. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as good as the other two, and it came out at a bad time.
Yeah, it came out like sandwiched between like two amazing Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it had those for me to compare it to, and that was rough. So yeah, no, it was solid, but then this one was just unfortunately not.
What is your rating? Because I have rental.
Yeah. Like I said, if you were a huge X-Men fan and you just desperately want to see them on the big screen, mm-hmm. Go in, prepare to be disappointed by the movie at large. But like I said, the last half hour, honestly for me, it was a skip until the last half hour.
Oh wow.
because it just wasn't. I wasn't even having fun watching it
Oh.
until, like I said, the last half hour of the movie was basically like all a big fight scene with the main big bad of the movie, and it was fun. Like that, I actively enjoyed, and there were and pretty much all of the main crew of X-Men actually had like some pretty awesome like fights in the last half hour, like where they made everybody look good.
Yeah.
Like everybody looked real good.
Everyone got a time to shine.
Yep, exactly. I think Nightcrawler in particular had one of my favorite moments in the movie, which makes me happy. But for Nightcrawler fans out there, expect to be real upset about the rest of the movie with Nightcrawler. Yeah, no, it's rental. Like you don't need to see this in theaters. You won't get any more of an impact watching it like at home versus in theaters for that last.
There's no like
half
spectacle aspect of it, like Godzilla. Like you need to see that one in theaters because
the giant
big screen,
monster.
giant.
You need no, like I'm sure that like a lot of the spectacle in this movie, because the CG looked great. A lot of that is going to look better on the big screen than it will at home, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's enough to warrant the movie ticket. So yeah.
Also, while you're giving your review, I looked it up. So apparently, the Disney-Sony agreement is so Sony makes all of the money from the movie for Homecoming and Far From Home.
Yeah.
They're the ones making that movie. It's just taking place in the MCU, and like with Homecoming, they could use Tony Stark.
Right.
But Marvel didn't get any of that movie. The only money they make from those movies is from merchandising, which is still going to be significant.
Yep.
And at the same time, Sony's allowing Marvel to put Spider-Man in like Civil War and the Avengers movies, but they don't see a dime from those.
Okay.
So they're the only money they're making off of.
Because I knew they basically made most of the money with Homecoming. I didn't remember that it was all of it.
I just read the like Variety article when
Gotcha.
they announced the deal.
But I also thought they got a little bit of a kickback from using Spider-Man in other movies. But yeah.
At least that's what it sounded like. I could be
because now
wrong,
I do remember
but
we have definitely talked about it before, where like Sony, all they have to do is say, yes, you can use this. Please make movies for us.
Right.
So yeah, Sony is basically just they're footing the bill for their own movies.
Yeah.
Because I definitely remember talking about this now. They foot the bill for like Far From Home and Homecoming, but Marvel is making it. Like the Kevin Feige's in charge of it.
Right.
So yeah, no, like that, and that's a phenomenal deal for Sony, and I don't think they're gonna stop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back, I stand by my claim that Kevin Feige and Disney will absolutely call that bluff.
God, I hope so.
Like, all right, well, you don't get to do Spider-Man 3. All right, cool. We'll do something different. Wait, what? Hold on. Let's talk about this. So anyway, like going back to X-Men though, a little bit of a bright spot maybe. I know Shannon's not listening to this, but Jubilee, of all of the mutants that make little cameo appearances in this movie, Jubilee is not one of them.
Wow.
Jubilee is neither seen nor heard through the entire film. We do see Dazzler. She gets a neat scene.
Ugh.
But yeah, we got to see a bunch of other mutants. Like I said, in little cameo roles. It's not like
A name is mentioned. And...
they don't even like not even names. Like Dazzler doesn't even get a name.
Oh, okay.
You see the abilities and you're like, yes, that is definitely so and so.
Gotcha.
So like,
or maybe it's a combination of people because apparently Storm is just Iceman now.
Yep, no Bobby Drake. Oh my God. Anyway, so the '90s X-Men creators are trying to bring the show back. And that's what made me think of Jubilee there.
Yes.
So
give me that. I very much enjoyed the X-Men. I don't remember what.
92. I
Yeah,
think.
X-Men 92. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
A little brief run. It did not get in as much time as it needed.
Nope.
The overall storyline was kind of weird, but just having that team in that art style made my heart so happy.
Yep. And they're wanting to pick up the show basically from where it left off, which that I'm not as much a fan of. Like I would like for them to do one 20 years later.
I genuinely don't even remember where it left off.
I don't either. And I rewatched that show I say a few years ago. I rewatched that show back in 2011. I don't like thinking about the fact that was 8 years ago. In fact, it's at this point, it's probably been almost exactly 8 years since I watched it, because I was watching it at my new job at the time, which I had just gotten that job after graduating, which I did in 2011. So anyway,
It used to be on Netflix, and I
Yeah.
started it, but by the time I found it, it was already like in the process of being taken off. I was like, ah, son of a.
and that's where I watched it because I had my job had provided me an iPad, so I had an iPad at my desk, and I just had my headphones hooked up to it while I was doing my work. I just had the '90s X-Men show going on that iPad, and so yeah, '90s X-Men show could be coming back. The creators are trying real hard.
I mean, and that would make sense. Like, put it on Disney, like the Disney streaming.
Yeah, easy. Throw it on Netflix. Like
It's if it's an X-Men thing, nothing. It's not going on
it's not gonna
Netflix.
hit Netflix. Hulu. Throw it on Hulu.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
either one.
Just make it happen.
Something,
I
yeah.
want it back. Like I said, I would like it to be, further in the future because obviously we have that show is very dated. If you watch it now, because I watched it in 2011, I was like, yes, this was the 90s. It's kind of like I'm rewatching Daria right now. I was like, yes, this was the 90s. So yeah, I want it though. Anyway, let's move on here. We got this nice portion of a podcast brought to you by our wonderful friends at Villainous Grounds in Perryville, Missouri. Stop by there for all of your comic book needs. It's a wonderful, wonderful store. Marvel has teased no compromise, no mercy. It's gonna be the most ruthless team ever. So far, they have announced Wiccan, Hellstrom, Blade, Monica Rambeau, Angela, and Winter Soldier.
I've never heard of Monica Rambeau.
She is a mutant.
Is she related to John Rambeau?
No, it's a Rambeau, like Rambeao.
No.
She's.
I don't know her, but like otherwise, like Blade and Hellstrom and Winter Soldier, like those can be pretty ruthless characters, but like missing a Wolverine or a Punisher, it still kind of seems kind of it's a bold claim, we'll say.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. She was first appeared in Spider-Man. I don't think she actually is a mutant. Anyway, yeah. Go ahead and talk for a second.
I mean those are my thoughts on that team. Because we don't have any other details on it.
Right, yeah, because we're supposed to be getting more on the 11th. We'll find out more about this. Yeah, she's from New Orleans, which if you couldn't tell from the last name, I guess. Apparently, at one point she was Captain Marvel very briefly.
Huh.
Yeah, I
Just
don't know.
pass around that name.
Yeah, right. So I guess she just has kind of similar powers to that. Because I've definitely seen this character in stuff before. Oh, here we go. Abilities: energy absorption, generation, and manipulation. Ability to travel at speeds up to the speed of light, while in her energy form, convert her body into any form of energy within the electromagnetic spectrum, and travel in energy form through the vacuum of space. So I could see why they would call her Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
It's basically like if Captain Marvel and Bishop had a baby. Then Monica Rambeau.
Well, okay then.
Obviously, that is not her origin, but I want to clear that up real quick. But her power set definitely makes that make sense. So yeah, we definitely need. There's some more ruthless characters out there, especially Wiccan has never struck me as a particularly ruthless character.
Yeah.
So I don't know, unless some stuff has happened with Wiccan that I don't know about.
Which is possible.
Absolutely. As much Marvel as I follow, there's so much that I don't.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously...
As much Marvel as I thought I followed. Turns out, I don't know jack about Marvel. All of these rereads are very
clearing that
telling.
up for you? Yeah. No, that's absolutely a thing.
I'm reading the arcs leading up to Death of Wolverine right now, and like, Sabretooth's a crime boss? What? Why is he wearing a suit?
Yeah, that happens for a little while when he's in Genosha.
No, he's in New York. It's him and Goblin are at war.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why. But I'm reading. Let's go.
Make it happen. Yeah, no, that's a thing. There's a lot of things that happen in that era. So yeah, we're good. Oh, and Marvel has also said that they're going to stop killing characters for shock value. In fairness, they haven't killed a major character in a while. And now, especially now that they've resurrected everybody.
But instead they've resurrected like 6.
Yeah, they've resurrected like all the heavy hitters that they've killed over the last few years.
Hmm.
Like,
Having read as much Captain America as I've just read, they've killed Red Skull like 8 times.
he's died so frequently. I don't get it. Like, a lot of times they don't even explain it back. They're just like, yeah, he's back.
Cosmic Cube.
Yeah, and then like I do like when some of the writers will throw in some like self-aware stuff. Like, has anybody in this room not been dead before?
Yeah.
No, all right.
I mean, that happened in Secret Empire when they killed insert name here. They're just like, I mean, people die all the time. You can bring them back. You can bring them back. And it's like, no, this one counts for real. And then by the end of the arc, I knew it was you. Okay, it's fine. What's the next comic story?
All right, the next comic story. We're going with some DC news. We got a new Black Label announcement, which I like these DC Black Label books, but this one I don't know about.
Yeah, this one's a pass for me.
Do what?
This like what we talked about on the pre-show, which you can get at patreon.com/podzilla1985 for $1. This one's already a miss.
Fair. Joker Harley Criminal Insanity. It's coming out October 2nd. It'll be a 9-issue series by Cami Garcia and Mike Mayhew. It'll be a retelling of the Joker Harley meetup. Which the Black Label stuff, has been so far really fun. Well, I say so far, like I've only read Batman Damned and is Last Night on Earth Black Label? That's Black Label, isn't it?
I genuinely have no idea. I have not been keeping up with it.
I picked it up yesterday. The first issue's out.
Okay.
And I it's thicker. Like I think it's Black Label, but regardless, like the quality of Batman Damned was real high. And yeah, if they could, keep that going throughout the Black Label stuff, like I'll probably still pick this up just cause. But I don't think I'm going to particularly enjoy it. 'Cause, yeah, like it's apparently going to be a new twist on their introduction. I guess Harley Quinn is going to be a forensic pathologist, I think is the term for it.
Last Night on Earth is Black Label.
Okay, cool.
But those are the only 2 books that are out.
Okay, I thought there was another one.
They
re-released Black.
3 Jokers has been announced.
Right.
And then Superman Year One is coming out in 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, and then White Knight was re-released under the Black Label imprint as a trade.
Okay.
But not like the individual issues. Anywho, so yeah, I like I said, I think that's the job position. Basically, Gotham PD is going to be hiring her to help track down the murderous serial killer Joker. So that'll be how they meet instead of inside Arkham with Harleen Quinzel trying to rehabilitate. She's going to try and catch him. So anyway, and obviously the Black Label stuff usually is not part of the main DC universe. Like they're all in their own like pocket stories, like very self-contained. Yeah. All right. This next portion of our podcast brought to you by Press Start to Join. You can find all of their content ps2jshow.com, including the social media links and all of their podcast episodes. They do the history of gaming the last Wednesday of each month. The most recent one was Assassin's Creed. So if you've been looking to get into that franchise because you want to play, you've heard us talk about, or at the very least Asa talk about, not Origins, Odyssey. How good Odyssey is. You want to jump into that game.
You should have gone with Tanner or Dalton because they talk about like all of the games that they like instead of the one I like.
Well, in fairness, Dalton hasn't talked about a game that he's liked since Assassin's Creed 4.
Fair.
But yeah, no, Odyssey though has been universally praised as fantastic. So yeah, you can jump into there. You can learn some stuff, and then you can jump into Odyssey and have some fun. Because the several games preceding it were not great. Not great. Anyway, so Borderlands 2 DLC has been confirmed via Steam Link. Steam Leak. Not the hardware, Steam Link, that you can purchase very cheaply. It'll be free, and it's going to be a connecting DLC between Borderlands 2 and 3. We talked about it last week as a rumor that was going to happen. Now, it has been officially confirmed because Steam accidentally put the page up too soon. It's going to be released. Likely, it was supposed to be probably a surprise. Randy Pitchford was likely going to talk about it like, hey, yeah, we did this new DLC for Borderlands 2. It's going to link the 2 games, and it's available right now for free. And it would have been a really cool moment that has been ruined. I say ruined. I'm still very happy about it. We just won't have that moment of surprise.
I'm trying to find the name of it because that got leaked too.
Oh, something like
It's
Lilith's.
Captain Lilith and the Rise of Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary.
Yeah. Because we're gonna find out how we get to Sanctuary 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because something happens obviously to Sanctuary 2.
It's probably fine.
Yeah, probably. Either way, no, I'm excited to play this DLC. It's gonna be fun. Baldur's Gate 3 got an announcement teaser, which really was just a quick cinematic thing.
Looks awesome though. Like the cinematic was crazy cool.
Yeah, it was. The cinematic was real cool.
Because we got that at the Stadia conference, the Google Stadia conference.
Yep.
It is going to be PC only, and it's Google Stadia and PC. So we'll get more into Stadia here in a minute, but the only way to play it not on a PC will be through Stadia.
Yep. And at that point, yeah, more on the Stadia in a minute.
Looks super cool. Apparently, it's supposed to be. They want this to be the best
D&D
game ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be based around 5th edition. I
And-
don't know what that like. I still am not familiar enough with like the various editions.
And
we
it's the
don't.
crew that did Divinity 2.
Yeah, which apparently like Original Sin, Divinity 2, like those are the people were saying like those are the best RPGs to come out in years. We don't know if it's going to be turn-based or if it's going to be real-time. Like there's still a lot of questions. We just know that it's happening and it looks super cool because it's got like the mind flayers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which that was
just like
that was awesome looking.
I'm on board. Like I never got super. I had like friends that would play the Baldur's Gate games, and I never got super into them. But I loved like watching those.
And the stories like about around Baldur's Gate are really interesting. And yeah, no, it was cool. The teaser was really cool, like really well done, like some high quality cinematic stuff there. Definitely not for
the faint of heart.
Yeah, the what's the word I'm
Squeamish.
looking for? Squeamish. I was like easy to get queasy, and I was like, no, that's not fun.
Easy to get squeamed. Like, wait, what?
Nope, easy to get queasy, which would have been fun to say, but not what I'm looking for. Squeamish, yeah, because it's a little graphic.
I was watching. I had it pulled up at work, and I was just like, oh my.
Especially when the tentacles come out. Anyway, so yeah, that looks really cool. Destroy All Humans, the remake is official and got a trailer, and it's gonna be $40.
$40. I'm so excited.
That's quite the value.
Those games were fun. Like, I know some people are excited about they're also remake because THQ Nordic had 3 game announcements this week. This was the second one. The first one was remaking SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, I think.
Yeah, I just didn't mention that because. Yeah.
That's fine. THQ Nordic has been buying all of these IPs, just like they haven't really been doing a whole lot with them yet.
Right.
So now we got 3 announced games, and Destroy All Humans is just a stupid amount of fun. It's great to just jump in 30 minutes, blow off some steam. I'm excited.
Yeah, no.
The trailer was funny, like
with a Rammstein song.
I was like, "Why is the alien speaking German?"
I was sitting there like, are they for real using Rammstein for a trailer? That's happening. That's happened.
Good on
All right.
Good on
That's fine. The trailer was hilarious. The game, then the Destroy All Humans games are notoriously just really fun. The other game that we got from THQ Nordic was a teaser trailer or we got the teaser trailer for Darksiders Genesis, which is going to be a kind of a Diablo-esque top-down action RPG set in the Darksiders universe.
Yep, you play as Strife. Not a whole lot of details on it, I don't think, but it again, this looks really cool.
Because yes, I mean Strife was in the cinematic, but they very clearly showed some extra player classes during the actual gameplay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can. It may be other. You may be playing other characters. You may that's just how you load out.
Right.
Strife.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility because he said he didn't come there alone. In the little teaser.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, we don't know like anything else. We don't know if like it's 4-player and you just have the 4 horsemen that you could play as. That would be kind of cool.
That would be badass.
Yeah, no, that would be really neat. But yeah, we don't know yet. I'm sure we'll find out more at E3. They just wanted to get the teaser out there, build some hype, and then we'll find out more later. We also got the Destiny conference. There was a rumor going around about Destiny turning free to play. Turns out that's true.
So I watched that conference. I don't understand it, even a little bit. Because they didn't say Destiny 2 is going free to play. They said there will be a free to play Destiny 2 thing, and that's what's called New Light.
Yeah, okay, so because it's like everything about Destiny now has gotten a little confused. Like it's a little hard to approach. And
Hmm.
that's something they're actively trying to fix because if you guys remember, we talked about it a while back. Bungie is officially self publishing Destiny.
Hmm.
They no longer have Activision, so they don't have those people to please. And we also can no longer blame their mistakes on Activision.
Right.
Which I'm still convinced that a lot of the problems that Destiny has had is because of Activision.
Hmm.
Activision is notoriously difficult to work with as a publisher, and yeah, no, that's been the case. So they're now self-publishing, and one of the first big things they're doing as being self-publishing is making the base game, including the first big DLC. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Forsaken.
Forsaken. What? No, I thought Forsaken was. Is it Forsaken?
I thought that was the first big one.
Because I was thinking Forsaken was maybe either way. The first big DLC, I think it is Forsaken, is going to be included in the free to play version as well as all of the stuff that has come out so far. It'll basically be the free to play version will be everything up to Shadowkeep, which is the other thing they announced and gave the reveal trailer for is the next big expansion for Destiny will be called Shadowkeep. So Destiny New Light, the idea is that you'll be able to jump in. It's free to play, and you have access to pretty much everything. And from now on, all of the content is going to be kind of a la carte. So like they've gone down to seasons now. They're continuing to do the DLC packs. Like they did for the first year of Destiny 2, the first year of Destiny 1.
Which, just real quick, Games Radar has the listing of will include the base game with the Cabal Red War campaign, as well as the Leviathan raids, plus all content from Curse of Osiris and Warmind DLCs. And then comes with Gambit, all the strikes, and Crucible maps, and access to all destinations, including the Dreaming City, Tangled Shore from Forsaken, and the New Moon destination coming in Shadowkeep. So you get pieces from Shadowkeep and Forsaken, but you're not getting all of that content.
Okay, I thought it was coming with
Like
Forsaken.
it sounds like you're getting. I think Curse of Osiris was the first big one because there was that in Warmind. We're like right back and forth. I
Uh,
thought I never played it, so I don't know.
because I think Warmind was just the first
DLC.
That was just the first campaign, I thought,
So
or the first raid.
well,
I
those are the
think.
DLCs, and it comes with I don't know.
Maybe not.
Who
No,
knows?
Warmind was something different. Anyway, I got
Turns out this gets confusing when you fractured your game into so many DLC add-ons and various like it's not a season pass. It's
yeah, no. So now they do an annual pass because they do every time they release new content every 3 months, and that's going to be the thing they're doing going forward. You can do the annual pass and you get access to all 4 seasons, or you can just get the seasons that you're interested in.
hmm
And you won't be barred out of doing like strikes and stuff like that. You just won't be able to do the like the actual like story content that comes with.
hmm
Same thing with like the PvP stuff, like all the Crucible stuff, the guns, everything else. The only thing you're going to be barred out of is like actually doing like raid content or any kind of like PvE content that was involved in that particular, I guess, season of content. So I mean, and I meant to do a little bit more research, like because I looked into it quite a bit because I've been out of Destiny 2 since the first DLC pack they released. Because I was really bummed that they were repeating what I considered mistakes from the first game, but apparently
You and their entire fan base.
yeah. Though apparently the way they ended up doing it was quite a bit different than I guess they did it with Destiny 1. And they've done it in such a way where it's significantly better now for everyone involved. Like even if you don't want to buy that content, you're not locked out like you were in Destiny 1.
hmm
So it's quite a bit better, I guess, for that. But regardless, that base game and everything in it's free to play, so you can jump in and you can do like the Gambit stuff with all of your friends, which is why I thought that it included the first DLC because Gambits were introduced in the first, I guess, that Forsaken pack.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the point is, it's going free to play in November. And it'll be free to play on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia. And you'll get they'll have cross saves. So like if you get the game on PC and then you get it on PlayStation, you can move your Guardian back and forth.
And that PlayStation one was a very much down to the wire. It was going to be cross save on everything except for PlayStation, but Sony finally.
Yeah, Sony finally
came
gave
around.
in. They're no longer going to do like gated content. So and I know PlayStation is probably upset about this, but yeah, PlayStation's not getting exclusive guns. They're not getting content early. They're not getting exclusive content. The content will be the same across every platform. Because the idea is they want everybody to be able to play, and I'm wondering if that's where the Sony thing came down to the wire on, because they couldn't have done cross save if Sony kept their exclusive stuff. But I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to. Regardless, there's a lot of speculation, I guess, there that doesn't matter at all. The point is, cross save is an option now. So for someone like me, there for a while when I had the game on Xbox and PlayStation for Destiny 1, like I could actually move my Guardians back and forth. And yeah, that's gonna be something you could do with Destiny 2. So if you ended up putting a whole bunch of time into the PC version of Destiny 2, and say you wanted to play with your PlayStation friends, or like you've got a bunch of people that are moving to Stadia, you'll be able to move those Guardians straight over,
Yep.
which is super nice. And I think all of the content, like you don't have to buy the content separately for each of them either. I'm not positive about
No,
that.
I think that will. I think you would have to
Buy the content.
still. You still
you
have
still
to.
have to buy the game.
Yeah, you still have to own everything on that system. You
Yeah.
can just kind of go back and forth between your progression.
Right. Yeah.
But I
'cause
don't.
you
But it wouldn't make sense to be able to
Yeah,
just
once it goes
play.
free to play, yeah, no, it wouldn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, never mind. Scratch that. That was a thing I read that no, I guess wishful thinking. Because you do have to. Because I was thinking like, yeah,
You'd
you
have
just
to actually own the content to be able to play it.
right. Because I was thinking like, yeah, all you have to do is own the game and then it's cross save. Because if you own the game on PC and you own the game on Stadia, then you can
Yeah.
cross
Cross save, not cross buy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so they also revealed Shadowkeep going back to the moon. I guess we've got some more stuff to do with the oh god. What are they called? I keep wanting to call them the Horde, but they're not. Or the Hive, and they're not that. Or no, they're the Hive, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Either way, apparently there's more stuff coming back with that. You've got
Which seems kind of like, I don't know, but we've done the moon before.
but we haven't done the moon in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, like because I mean the game started with like it was a pretty heavy Cabal at the very beginning. We've done the Cabal before, but yeah, no, we haven't had. I think it's the Hive. We haven't done anything with those enemies or the moon in a long time. The moon hasn't even been available in Destiny 2. Like it's just not a place you can go to. But as of Shadowkeep, you'll be able to go back and and apparently a lot of stuff has changed since we killed Oryx back in Destiny 1, which I thought would have ended the Hive entirely, but apparently not. I guess we'll find out what's going on with that with Shadowkeep. Honestly, like this direct has me at least a little bit interested in going back to Destiny. Because I mean, like they've made a lot of good decisions, and apparently the game is better than it's ever been right now. Is everything that I've heard.
Yeah.
So anyway, Pokemon Sword and Shield, we got a direct from them. It was a very short direct. I was wrong. We didn't have anything with Pokemon Cloud, which I'm happy I'm wrong about. But we did get to see the new gimmick in this one. It's going to be called Dynamax. Turn your Pokemon into a Kaiju. That's
For
what it's
3
gonna be.
turns.
For 3 turns. You can make one Pokemon gigantic. That'll be that'll be involved in the gym battles. They're using the Dynamax stuff like out in the wild with like some raid stuff, which is kind of cool that the outside areas, like whenever you're outside of cities, like that's actually co-op. You can play that with other players, and you can do raids like out in the overworld.
Yeah, four player Dynamax raids. I don't. So the thing that bugs me about it is I don't like how from generation to generation they always just add a new mechanic that never carries over. So this is just the new gimmick that I'm not particularly interested in. And they said that there are certain Pokemon you have to defeat in the raid battle before you can catch them in the game.
I thought I also read there were just certain Pokemon
Don't-
that you could only catch via.
And that might be it too, but I don't know. But either way, not into it. I think it's dumb. I also am worried about how intertwined this is with the gym battles, because that terrifying looking gym trainer Milo or whatever his name was that we got introduced
Babyface?
to, yeah, like yikes, big
Yeah.
ol' yikes.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be like limited to like, okay, now I have to use this Dynamax thing that changes the moves I've taught my Pokemon. That
I didn't think it changed it. I thought
does.
it just made them better.
Nope. Well, I mean, they're different moves though.
Oh.
Like because looking at the attack screen of when it was normal sized and the attack screen of when they were bigger, they're different names.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like I definitely like me personally anyway. I like this gimmick more than the Mega Evolutions.
Hmm.
Because I didn't like that gimmick at all.
Yeah, but
Um,
like at least with that one, it wasn't. There was no point it was necessary.
True. Which this
Same thing with
one,
like the Z moves or whatever. Like,
yeah. I just like I wasn't a huge fan of those, but no, I get the difference. Like you didn't have to use them if you didn't want to.
hmm
It just made the game easier.
hmm
Which those games are already really easy. But regardless, we also got confirmation that in the wild, Pokemon are going to be in the overworld. Like you'll be able to see
some
them.
of them, because it did show there were also random encounters.
I saw that in a couple of, like, yeah, in tall grass, sometimes you don't see them pop up, but
Hmm.
it'll like it pops up an exclamation point and like runs to you.
Yeah,
But it said you'd see the Pokemon in the overworld, so I guess I just need more clarification on that.
yeah. It seems like it's a mix. Like
Yeah.
the way I heard it is that this is just it's going to be a mix of sometimes you'll see them, but there are random encounters.
Which
Which but that's probably something we won't know until.
until like we get closer to the release.
Hmm.
Which honestly, like I would even be fine with that as long as I can see the Pokemon in the overworld is cool, and as long as I can dodge Zubats in caves.
Right.
Like that's my big concern.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, because tall grass, like there was definitely some Pokemon that you could not see in tall grass because we definitely saw that little clip.
Yeah.
But anyhow, they were walking around just like outside of grass too,
Hmm.
which was cool. So and then like I said, that area will be like you had the co-op raid battles, which I think is really neat. So I know that'll be you'll find Dynamaxed Pokemon basically out in the wild that are permanently Dynamaxed.
Hmm.
You and 3 other players can take on the Pokemon. And if only one of the 4 of you can use Dynamax at any given point, so you just kind of have to be a little strategic with that.
Hmm.
It looks neat, and like the throwing out the giant Pokeball to catch them is kind of cool too. At least I think so.
Yeah, I wasn't into. I'm not some. I don't play Pokemon to play with other people.
That's fair. They've been wanting you to do that for a really long time,
Hmm.
so by requiring you to trade with other people and stuff. Anyway,
Then we got new
we
Pokemon
get to
reveals.
see the
Corviknight looks cool. I like Corviknight, and I like the Snapping Turtle one.
yeah.
The internet is in love with Wooloo, the adorable little sheep.
I liked the comic of a Mareep just like depressed on bed
Hmm.
because like I've been replaced and just looking at a picture
There's
of
one
Lulu.
the Wooloo puts a fork in an outlet. It turns into a Murray.
That's awesome. We
And,
also saw this adorable little flower thing.
and its
Uh,
evolution.
Yeah, and its evolution, which no, like that's cool.
And then we saw the legendaries.
We sure did.
These legendaries are trash tier. No one is going to change my mind. It's a weeb ass version of a Dark Souls boss, and a dog that got its head stuck through a fence. The shield one looks so stupid. It looks so stupid.
They definitely looked better in the like the drawn style.
Did they?
I think so.
Because
They-
I also just thought it's this wide ass dog that
Man, I'm
just
gonna have
is.
to talk to you about all these A bombs
Yeah, I
you
don't
dropping.
care.
That's like
it's
4.
dumb. It's so. They're atrocious.
The-
Give
I
me
mean,
Pokemon Gun.
They don't
Just
look.
metal Wergarurumon.
No, the third one's gonna be like a Voltron style. I'm calling it now, and he's gonna wield the sword and shield somehow.
Probably.
But anyway, it's not like they don't look great. They really don't. The hand drawn styles I think look a lot better than the 3D versions lent them to because we got a little clip of the two interacting like in a 3D environment, which would have looked neat if the legendaries didn't look so dumb. But the in the hand drawn versions, they look a little better. I think if I'm going for this game, it's probably going to be for the shield because
Insane to me.
the one holding the sword in its mouth looks dumb. Like the holding the sword in the mouth thing is a weird trope that I don't like, and I just need it to stop. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We also got nope, that was it. November 15th, 2019 is the release date. So we got an official release date for it. So yeah, we might be getting more information about that later. We might not. And then just real fast, Google Stadia. We got the conference for that, so we got to see a lot of that information. We got the pricing for it. There's going to be a founders pack. It's $130. You can pre-order it now. You get a special edition blue controller with it.
That's a pretty good deal, and like I'm honestly tempted I'm gonna wait until the Microsoft conference tonight because I'm assuming they're gonna talk about their streaming service.
xCloud, yeah.
But like, because with the $130 Founders Pack, you get the Chromecast Ultra, which you will require if you want to play on a TV.
Yes.
You get the controller.
Yep.
You get 3 months.
Which right there, folks, just so you know, the controller is $70 and a Chromecast Ultra is $60.
Yep.
So that's $130 between those two things.
Then you get the 3-month paid subscription, which is $10 a month, so that's
Yep.
another 30. You get a bonus 3 months that you can give to a friend to try out, which I just think is a really cool idea.
Yep.
And then you get they marketed it brilliantly and also like don't forget your username. You get first dibs on that, so that's kind of cool. And then you also get like all of Destiny 2.
Yes.
So that one was weird because that said limited time, and we don't know how this we don't know if that $10 a month is gonna include free games or how that's gonna go.
The $10 a month will include free older games.
Yeah.
They did say for sure that it will include free games.
But they showed like Tomb Raider and Division 2 and stuff like that, which Division 2 I doubt would be.
No,
free.
I'm sure
like
that's going to be
Assassin's Creed Odyssey or maybe even Origins.
But yeah, they definitely will have games you have to purchase, and I'm sure those will be a couple of the games that you have to purchase, like Division 2 and stuff.
But the versions that you get of Destiny 2 includes everything, including
Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep, sorry.
Yep. And you will get like basically from what they were saying on never mind, you just get like that's just if you get Shadowkeep, you are current to like whenever you buy Shadowkeep, like you get the next season of play or that current season of play.
But it comes out sometime in November. I don't like the idea of having to still purchase the games because you just don't own anything. But there will be a free version coming out next year. The paid version launches in November.
And like now, it'll only be available for the Chromecast. Like, you can only use it on TV. But eventually, I say eventually, apparently shortly after, you'll be able to do it in browser and stuff.
And you can do it I thought it was also in,
That will not be available at launch.
That's weird.
It's only TV at launch.
I know for phone, it's only the Pixel initially.
That'll be the first one to get it.
And that'll come to, and then other like smartphones will get it eventually.
Yeah. And yeah, doing it on like your web browser and stuff isn't immediate. That's way they.
So weird.
Yeah, it'll be on launch. It'll just be the Chromecast. But yeah, afterward though, like, and it's not supposed to be long after, but afterward you'll be able to do like on everything, like anything with a web browser, you'll be able to use it. Tablet, like your desktop PC,
laptops,
it'll use
all that.
mouse and keyboard. It'll use a controller, including like PlayStation or Xbox One controller.
Yeah, if you can sync it to your PC, it'll work.
Yep, if you can sync it to your PC, it'll work. The only time that the Google controller is required is if you play it on your big TV using Chromecast.
Yeah.
At that point, you have to have the controller, which is cool. Like, I mean, everything looks really cool. Like, one of the biggest selling points is you never have to download anything. You never have to update anything. Like, whenever you're ready to play the game, you log into Stadia and you just go. And you're just playing. The downside is for people with like limited data. And 65 hours of gameplay is 1 terabyte of data. So
and it requires 35
meg down minimum.
For 4K, but the minimum is 10 down.
And that's for the 1080p. Oh, 720? Okay, 720. And yeah, right now, all that's available will be the premium, the 10K, or the 10K.
$10
the $10 a month for 4K. But, I mean, that's not a bad deal to play 4K 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
Like, that's solid.
Assuming your internet can support it.
Right.
And your data caps will
allow it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're lucky, like we are here in this area, it's weird to say that Charter is one of the better options out there, but boy are they somehow. So yeah, we'll be like if I got into this service, I'll be able to play games, 4K 60 frames a second at home without buying, a game like a big time gaming rig.
Yeah.
So like that's really cool to me anyway. But I don't know if I'll be doing this just because, like Asa mentioned a second ago, like if you buy the game and Google decides to drop Stadia, like all right, well we can no longer support this model because not enough people jumped into it, stuff like that. Whatever games you bought, unless they give you the ability to convert it to Steam or something,
like redeem a code or something, it's just gone.
It's out. Like you no longer have access to anything that you had purchased.
Yep.
For a full price too. Like new games are still going to be $60 in Stadia.
Which they did say that there would be deals exclusive to the Stadia Plus. So if you're paying the $10 a month,
Yeah,
then
you'll get.
you
It's kind of
you
like having
could get a
PlayStation
discount.
Plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they didn't say anything about like new game prices or anything like that.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this show. We got to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on Tuesday with the full E3 recap. Lots of news going to be coming out of that, so we're really excited about it. It's going to be Asa, Dalton, Hunter, and Shannon on that show, so it's sure to be a solid time. But yeah, see you next time.